Hi everyone, I'm going to take a very brief look at tuning the tabla and how to use the talc in performance. They're not topics that you see that much of online, and indeed some people maintain that it's harder to tune the tabla than it is to actually play them, which actually is quite a fantastically ridiculous thought, but there you go. People think whatever they think. So we're going to look at tuning the tabla. It's an amazing instrument in the way that it's constructed. It is truly remarkable, and the tuning of it is equally remarkable. So here we have the high tabla, which is actually called tabla. Sometimes they're called Baya and Dynha. This will be the Dynha, which basically just means right in Hindi. Baya being left, and even if you play them the other way around, they will still be called Baya and Dynha. So this is the drum. You can see the complexity of how it's made. Actually, really incredible. We've got the strap here around the bottom, and then this one piece of gut. It goes all the way between the strap, all the way around the drum. One piece tied off, and it's holding the head on that you can see here very clearly. Notice how the rim is so beautifully sewn in place. So traditionally the drum would be made with the head made on the drum. So nowadays when you get a new tabla head, really it's been made off the drum, which makes it a little bit harder to make perfect for that drum, because obviously when it's made on the drum it's really molded perfectly to it. And also the black spot here is made whilst the head is tensioned. So it's made from like flour and iron filings, and they put some other little bits in it. I mean, it's a pretty beautiful creation, really. The head is actually 3 skins thick. Like underneath, we can see we've got a little rim on top here. Then we've got the main skin, which has the black spot on it. Then underneath there's another rim like this. So it's kind of around the edge, it's 3 skins thick, which is pretty amazing. And it's tuned really high, and you can see that the straps here, they have I mean, this is on, some of these are on 4, so this is right at its limit. But when you get it originally, it will either be on one or 2 of these straps. I mean, either just one of them or 2 possibly. And then as the head gets more worn in, you might need to pull these up. You pull it up onto, like this one for example, might need to get pulled up onto the wooden block. So we're going to just quickly look at the tuning of this drum. It's normally tuned to the tonic or the key note. It can be tuned to the 5th, but tuning is very important for tabla. So here we have the drum. Now tuning is done with a tuning hammer, you can see here. The end here is pretty much for digging up underneath some of the straps. You might need to pull the strap over with this. That's why the little hook is there. So that's one of the uses for the hammer. And 2 ends to the hammer. We've got the fat end here, and then also we have the thin end. And the fat end will be for tuning on the actual rim, and the thin end is going to be for knocking down the pegs like this. So it's actually a very fiddly job, but one that needs to become so comfortable that it happens literally in mid performance. So the actual tuning system is done also with the thin end. You're knocking up, so that with the thin end you knock up underneath So the thin end would knock down on the peg here, or up on the rim like this. So this action on the underside of the rim will lower the pitch. Hitting with the large part of the hammer down onto the top outside of the rim will make the pitch higher. Knocking the peg downwards is going to make the pitch higher. Knocking the peg upwards is going to make the pitch lower. So it's kind of obvious really, you're putting more tension in the straps. The straps are really, really hard to manipulate. So this strap, you can see how tight this strap is. To pull that up over the block here is incredibly hard work, and most tabla players have their tabla expert, engineer to do their drums for them. They rarely get involved in all the really hard manual work, because when this is now on 3 straps, 1, 2, 3, with 1 down, we can still get another one on top if it goes too low in pitch, this drum. But once it's gone beyond, then you need to take the pegs out and you pull all of the strap through, all the way around the drum. The whole way around the drum, the strap gets pulled through, blisters on your hands. It's a total nightmare. So that's why a lot of professional tabla players don't tend to do it themselves. So it's going to feel like it's a scary thing when you start to tune tabla, first of all, because it's quite extreme. Hitting the blocks is quite extreme. Sometimes you usually get a little bit of action on the edge of the block to, push it up, strike it down, or whatever. So this drum actually is perfectly in tune. So let's just take a few. You can manipulate these by hand. So let's just take them down. Take it down all the way around. Then you'll see. Then this will be. You'll see how low in pitch this will go once you've done this. So down we go. This one's on 4 straps. This is 3 there. So now you'll hear. This is a Muqtadas tabla, by the way. You see the sign there. This is from a Muqtadas in. Perfect, because this, when I was a student, this is where I'd start with the tabla. The tabla would be, oh no, how are you gonna do that? So you'll see that even with a little bit of action with the you hear how it goes down when I'm knocking up. Now, very important, when you're knocking up and knocking down, you don't hold the hammer like this, because you're going to go through the head. There's no control over it. This is how you hold the hammer. Right here like this. Not like that. Like this. Not like that. Like this. So you strike down. Oh, by the way, actually you're tuning to, some players tune to the Nar stroke, some players tune to the tin stroke. So the Nar stroke is right on the edge here, the tin stroke is on the inner rim. So I tend to tune to the Nar stroke. That's more unusual than usual. So striking down, there you hear the pitch. It's obviously madly out of tune everywhere. You can hear it go up. Now, just hearing this where it is in pitch, I know for a fact that, well, partly because I've just detuned all of the blocks, but I know that the blocks need to be knocked down. So if it's very low like this and out of tune, I mean, you could get it roughly. Now here, there, see, I've gone, that's lower, so it's quite a strong hit. Now it's gone higher. Now you go here, that's higher. That's too high. Then you're kind of getting it roughly the first time round. See how out that is. This is the one that's on 4 straps, because it's all gone So nothing will happen with that unless I knock this block down. So if you can, try and avoid hitting the ropes. It's very hard. That's why it's pointed like this, because you get in there. If you hit these too often, you're going to damage them and they're going to break because they're under such tension. So now I've knocked that block down. It's still completely out of tune. I'm going to just go through this whole process because then you can see. One of the things that I've found with tuning the tabla is that it's easier to get it in tune if you find a high spot. So that's higher than that. That's choked and horrible. This is higher. It's kind of not far from how you'd want it to sound actually, but it's better to take the high spots down and then you can bring the whole thing up. So you can hear that's really low, that point. So I'm going to knock the block down with this area. And hear how that's gone up? Now it's kind of roughly, it's lower than where it was. Now this is roughly little fine. Hear that little fine tuning there? But that's not as high as I want it to be. Now, the next thing you really want to do is you're going to need to tune it to a note. So what we're going to do is get our tuner app and we'll tune it to, like it says here, D. So now let's look where we are pitch-wise. So we can see that that's not where we want it. So we're much lower. We're kind of B flat. So we want to go up to, not that high. We want to go to D. So that's where. So you got your pitch there. So now I'm going to do more extreme tuning. I know all the blocks need to go up, so I'm going to knock them all straight away. Notice when I'm hitting the blocks, I'm also holding them as well. Gives a bit of stability. So you can hit in from here and you can also come in from behind. So from here or from behind. Now, when you're hitting the blocks, you're not holding the hammer like this. You're holding the hammer because there's no danger of you damaging the head. The only reason you hold the hammer like this is that you don't want to damage the head. As you go round, you can hear the head going up. So this drum hasn't been tuned up for a while. So I'm going to go to C first of all. Having said earlier that I use the gnar stroke, I'm mainly using the tin stroke at this stage on the inner rim. So you can see that's getting fairly close. We're going to have a look at another app, just see where we are. This is Tonal Energy Tuner. So, wow, that's pretty good. I don't know if you can see. We've got the app here. So that's reassuring. I can still tune the tabla. So there we can see that's the Dynha. I mean, it takes a while. You've got to experiment. I mean, these rings are really old. These are from the very beginning when I first started playing tabla. Sentimental value to me. So there's the high tabla. Low tabla is a lot easier. So the low tabla doesn't need to be tuned that way. You can see that the construction's very similar. You know, it's got the straps, but it's not tuned up nearly as highly. You know, to make it go lower, just if you whack it, it's going to be lower. And then with the tabla hammer, you just go round very carefully, because you'll easily, particularly this side, you'll easily go through the head if you've got the hammer held wrongly. There. So then finally, one final little point here to finish this off. Powder. Now, you'll often see people with talcum powder and they're sprinkling it everywhere, and everywhere's covered in powder. If you watch the, professional players in India, the masters, the way they have the powder in just a little jar, you see, and you have it to the side. I'm going to put it here, and in playing, you just put your fingers in it, tap the buyer, and then by default, some of the powder is going to go onto the high drum. So I hope that's a useful little introduction to tuning tabla. It's very complex. I'm sure there's a lot of things I haven't thought about, things that I've missed in there. So please email me if I've missed something vitally important that will ruin your whole career as a tabla player. And do let me know. No compensation is available, I'm afraid. But if you subscribe and like, then the compensation will be loads of free lessons that I'm going to be putting up on Kanjira, conical, lots of questions and answers and stuff like that. So stop by for that, and